When my alarm clock blared at 6 a.m., I wasn't excited, nor was I pessimistic. I was just tired. I guess 4 hours of sleep a night will do that to you. Shower, dress, breakfast of coffee and toast, then out the door. Just going through the motions, following the daily routine. But today, instead of starting up the cab and starting my loops, I'll turn on the out of service sign and head towards the parade's start. Today is different, but no more exciting, even though it is something that I get to do only once a year. Too bad I'm not one of the hundreds of thousands that get to watch and enjoy. This year's float is a giant pumpkin pie, and lucky me, I get to drive it. I guess I should be happy. It's a huge event and everyone gets excited. But what's to be excited about? No one ever thinks of the people underneath the floats, how we don't get to enjoy the parade, or how most of us can't afford a DVR or a TiVo to record it and watch it later. I do a quick check to make sure none of the design staff got overzealous and put decorations somewhere that will mess with the operations. They are always overzealous. I guess the crowds like it. Those reporters with their perfectly glued hair and their booming voices sure tell us how they do. By the time I check the float, the parade's about to start. I guess it's a good thing I make my living as a taxi driver, so I'm pretty qualified to drive this behemoth. I climb down into my spot and get all of the controls ready. Soon enough, I get the signal and slowly start the float forward. Everything goes smooth enough until we reach the halfway point. I smell something that smells like pumpkin. No, not just pumpkin, but pumpkin pie. And I wonder if we pass somewhere baking some for the crowds. Suddenly, I get really warm, and I'm suspicious. I look behind me. This is not good. Those overzealous decorators put crepe paper so far into the ventilation hole that it's been plugged up. Unfortunately, I remember from my check of the float that the steam vent is right underneath the massive pumpkin pie. This cannot be good. As soon as I turn to fix it, boom! I pop my head out from under the float to see what I knew would be a huge pumpkin pie explosion. Instead, I see people laughing and cheering. They're eating the pumpkin pie. I get out and join the merriment. Hey, maybe driving the float isn't as awful as I thought. In fact, this year it was quite delicious.
Today's the big day. It's a beautiful fall morning. The colors of the leaves and the fresh dew on the lawn is the great way for the earth to wish me a good morning. All summer long, we've been building our Thanksgiving Day float, and finally, we are able to share it with the world, and I hope they like it. Shoot! It's already 8 a.m.! I gotta go! I arrived at my meeting place right off 10th Street. Utter chaos. Last-minute additions are being made to the floats. Everyone is running around in turkey and pilgrim costumes. I'm so nervous, I don't even know where to begin. Costume. Yes, that's a good place to start. Big chef hat. Check. Itchy white chef coat. Check. Black pants. Check. And of course, the giant spoon, just for effect. 10 a.m. came faster than everyone thought it would. I hear the manager scream from the other side of the float, "Places, everybody!" Just breathe. Take a deep breath. It's showtime. I'm shaking with nerves, fear, and relief, and excitement all at the same time. As we approach Main Street, I could hear the crowd roaring, smell the corn dogs cooking, and see an ocean of people all looking at me. Kaboom! I fall to the ground, ears ringing in my initial reaction. Those pilgrims from the other float sabotaged us. I knew they were jealous. When I finally opened my eyes, I could feel a cold, wet sensation all over my legs. I stand up and I see pumpkin pie everywhere. Oh, no, 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 no. All our hard work is ruined. It's wasted. But wait a minute. Everyone is laughing, smiling, and cheering and eating our pie. They love it. They're cheering. I cannot believe everything worked out.
My mom and I wake up for the Macy's Day Parade. It has always been a tradition for Mom and I. Always wake up early and get ready before she does. Because of my excitement, I always end up rushing her to get ready. Although I know she is bluffing, she always threatens me that we would just sit inside and skip watching the parade. Once she is ready, we walk down the stairs. We walk to our favorite restaurant for breakfast. The restaurant is expensive. I always order the cheapest item on the menu, even though my mom insists on getting something more expensive. After breakfast, we walk outside and the streets are packed. After walking a while, we found an open spot on the sidewalk. After a while, I hear music start and look for the floats. As I look through the people, I see some floats. I turn to my mom and say, "Mom, they're coming, they're coming." She quickly picks me up and puts me on her shoulders. We look at each other and laugh at some of the funny floats and awe and amazement by the colorful floats. My favorite float by far was the last one. It was a float with a huge pumpkin pie on it. I wanted just to climb up there on the float and eat the pie. All of a sudden, I see smoke coming from the float. Then Mom said, "We need to go home." She took me off her shoulders and set me down. We started walking home. After about 3 minutes, I looked over my shoulder, and the pie on top of the float had exploded. I said, "Mom, the pie exploded. I want the pie." She responded, "Not now, bud. We need to get home." We walked in front of the door, and I walked to my room. When I was changing into comfortable clothes, I hear, "Alex, come to the kitchen." So I put on my clothes quickly and walked to the kitchen. My mom had a big smile on her face as she took out pumpkin pie from the fridge.
I love traditions with Alex. I really do. But this morning just came way too quickly. I know he's so excited, and I am trying to be too. But with the possibility of layoffs at work next week, I know I am on edge. Alex is ready way before me, and I know because he's running around like a bullet out of a gun. Boy, if you don't calm yourself down, we are just going to sit right inside and skip that parade. After getting ready, we start walking down the stairs. I want to be giving Alex all of my attention, but my mind just won't let up on my job. Before I know it, we are at our favorite restaurant for breakfast. I know it's smart to order one of the cheaper items of the menu, but it breaks my heart that Alex does this on his own, so I encourage him to choose whatever he wants. It is our special parade day, you know. Now that I can stop worrying about money, my mood picks up as we head down the road looking for a perfect spot. Alex is bouncing up and down, excited, and he picks my mood up too. When we hear music, Alex immediately searches for the floats in the distance, and so do I. As soon as he spots it, he shouts, "Mom, they're coming, they're coming." I pop him up on my shoulders so he can see better. I don't care about me, just as long as he sees everything. We laugh at the funny floats and ooh and ah at the amazing ones. I could tell his favorite float was the last one. His body tensed up and his smile told it all. All of a sudden, that last float started smoking. I wasn't taking any chances. After all, catastrophes happen in all shapes and sizes, and I wasn't going to just sit there and wait for something bad to happen. So I told him it was time to go. Off we go back to the house, and I know Alex is disappointed. I look down and he says, "Mom, that pie exploded. I want that pie." Little does he know, I have a surprise for him at home. "Not now, bud," I say. "We need to get home." When we walk in, Alex immediately heads to his room and pouts. He just doesn't understand that all I do is for him. I know he thinks that I am just being mean and unfair by leaving the parade, but his safety comes before all else. Now he is mad, but hopefully not for long. "Alex!" I call. As he comes in, I pull out the piece of pumpkin pie. His face makes the $20 pie worth every single penny.
It was Thanksgiving Day. While most people were off spending time with their families, I was working. I don't mind working today because I get to be an announcer for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. When I arrived to the set, I went to see the production crew. It was time for me to get ready for the show. The crew had to properly make sure that I was all ready for national television. The parade started, and I was enjoying being in front of television, announcing all the floats and performances. Everything was going fine until one float seemed to be not working. I saw the float not moving and said on air that the one float seemed to be having problems. I could see perfectly what float it was. It was the pumpkin pie float. My partner and I had to stall for a few minutes while the crew was trying to fix it. A few minutes went by, and all of a sudden there was a pumpkin pie explosion. Pumpkin pie went everywhere. It was on the streets, audience, and crew workers. I secretly knew the whole time that this would happen. I was just trying to make sure it was a surprise for everyone watching on television. I could see everyone laughing down below, and the parade continued. What a great day for a parade.